All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Big 12 Conference Commissioner Brett Yormark is always thinking outside of the box in regards to finding ways to grow and maintain his league. Now, currently, the Big 12 is in multiple time zones and multiple media markets, all right? You're talking about a league that spans from Florida to Arizona up to Utah throughout the Midwest, and you've also got the great state of West Virginia represented as well. In total, we're looking at 16 schools for the Big 12, and it could have been 17 had the Big 12 had agreed to bring Memphis into their fray. And of course, we all know what happened this past summer. Reports surfaced that Memphis had been lobbying to try to get into the Big 12, only to be rebuffed. And it wasn't the first time that the Big 12 had turned Memphis down. As the Tigers, they're clearly looking for an out from the American Conference. And of course, they're also looking to keep up with the Joneses in the world of college football. But in saying no to Memphis, did the Big 12 make a mistake? All right. I bring this up because so far this college football season, and of course I bring up college football because this is what revolves around all of these moves. All right. But so far this season, the Tigers are 4-0. And of those four wins, we just saw them knock off Arkansas out of the SEC this past Saturday. And you look at Memphis overall right now. Over the last two plus seasons, they're 25-5, and in each of these three seasons, we've seen Memphis defeat at least one school from a power conference. So why has the Big 12 continued to say no to Memphis? The fact that they play in a small market, in my opinion, does factor into things somewhat. Also, just my opinion, I feel like maybe the Big 12 is still in the process of trying to get adjusted to things. And the reason why I say that is over the last couple of years, we've seen 8 new schools added to the Big 12: Utah, UCF, Cincinnati, Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, Houston, and BYU have all recently joined the Big 12. And maybe they're just trying to let the dust clear, if you will, and let everybody get acclimated and let everybody settle in. Just my thought. Okay, I could totally be wrong on this, but to me, I feel like Memphis is a very interesting program to keep an eye out for athletically in the next several years. Okay, first of all, you look at their football program, and Ryan Silverfield has done a solid job uh, for Memphis after taking over for Mike Norvell. Remember, he was an assistant coach, I believe, defensive coordinator under Mike Norvell before Mike Norvell got the Florida State job. But you got to wonder if he's going to be there long term. And I say that because you look at the last two head coaches at Memphis, they both got power conference jobs. Of course, Mike Norvell, who is still at Florida State. And then prior to Mike Norvell, it was Justin Fuente who went to Virginia Tech. Granted, it didn't work out for him there long term, but nonetheless, you've got to wonder if Memphis is going to be able to keep a guy like Ryan Silverfield, especially here in September, where there's already multiple openings at power conferences for head coaches next season. That's one factor in there. And to me, I look at it, and like I said before, and I'll bring it up again right now. Does Memphis have a long term future in the American Conference? And I'm going to say absolutely not. Now, the American Conference has had some success in football so far this season. We just saw UTSA go to Fort Collins and knock off Colorado State. Earlier, it was USF dominating Boise State. Okay, a Boise State program that came into the season ranked. We've also seen USF knock off Florida out of the SEC. So the American Conference has been solid. okay, on the gridiron. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But they continue to lose programs. And I think if you're Memphis, you don't want to get lost in the shuffle. And again, like I said before, Memphis has been trying to look for ways out of the American Conference. And at some point, it's going to happen. I mean, we've seen them, talk with the new Pac-12. Nothing came to fruition, but they did talk. The rumors about Memphis, possibly taking all of their other sports to the Big East Conference, and then maybe, joining the Pac-12 as a football-only member. There's a lot that could happen there. Okay, honestly, for me, all of that talk aside, if the Big 12, doesn't want Memphis, why not try to look at the ACC? I say this because there's a possibility that the ACC could be losing some schools in a couple of years. All right. Also, on top of that, you know, putting a Memphis back in the league with Louisville, natural rivalry that goes back a long time with both of those schools right there. I think if you're Memphis, what you're going to do, you're going to continue to lobby. You're going to continue to find an alternative route for you. And again, at the end of the day, collegiate athletics, it's all about money, and it's all about which conference is going to give you the biggest payout and give you the easiest route, if you will, to potentially get to the college football playoff. And of course, that's something that Memphis currently is not going to get in the American Conference, whether it be finances or getting to the college football playoff. So, of course, they, like everybody else who is on the outside looking in, definitely want to have an end, and that's why I think they are going to continue to lobby. For me, I think what Memphis has to do is keep practicing patience. Easier said than done. I totally get where they're coming from, and going out there and racking up the wins. Again, like I said, if Memphis keeps on the track that they're at right now, and they're 4-0 to begin the season, they're getting ready to begin conference play this Saturday at Florida Atlantic. But nonetheless, if we're talking about Memphis having double-digit wins for the third consecutive year, they're going to be very hard pressed to try to maintain a Ryan Silverfield. But nonetheless, getting back to the Big 12, I could see where the Big 12 is coming from as far as not adding Memphis at the moment, but at the same time, I still think that the Big 12 kind of made a mistake right there because Memphis definitely fits their footprint from a basketball standpoint, and I think from a football aspect, I think it could have worked. Because remember, Memphis was just in the American with UCF, with Houston, and with Cincinnati, three schools that you added. I think naturally you could renew those rivalries. I think you could have something going between Memphis and West Virginia as well. Just my thoughts right there. But again, I think they're trying to sit back and let the dust clear, from an outsider's perspective, before they look to go back to this. But at the end of the day, not to sound like a broken record, I think Memphis is going to have to practice a little bit of patience. And I think there is another wave of realignment in college football coming in a few years. So maybe, just maybe, that will be Memphis's time. But nonetheless, Memphis, I think they're going to play the disrespect card, and they have every right to do it. But at the end of the day, if you want respect, you got to go out there on the playing field and earn it. And so far, Memphis has done that this season. I think them knocking off Arkansas was big. They've knocked off some power programs in the last couple of years. And I think this Memphis program is legit. I know coming into the season, I did not pick them to win the American, but from what I've seen so far, I think they're definitely going to have a say in winning who wins this conference, and maybe, just maybe, they get the conference win as well. You don't know. But nonetheless, I think, in my opinion, the Big 12, glossing over Memphis was a mistake. Let's see if they circle back to them. Let's see if there's an out route for them in the ACC. We've got to wait and see. But nonetheless, those two power leagues, in my opinion, should definitely look to plant their conference flags in Memphis. But folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. And as always, if you like what you heard and saw in this podcast, you know what to do. Just hit that like button as well as subscribing to this channel. Like I always say, it's greatly appreciated. Also, if you are on the X, formerly known as Twitter, you can check me out anytime at 300 pounds of sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. And just like it is on the X, you can check me out on Instagram anytime at 300 pounds of sports knowledge. But until next time, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, and I'm saying thanks once again for checking out the 300 pounds of sports knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Be well, everybody.